Get your official Adam Sank Show merchandise at adamsank.com. T-shirts, tank tops, mugs, masks, just about everything you can think of emblazoned with the Adam Sank Show logo. Go to adamsank.com to order your merch today. Thank you.
Warning. The program you're about to hear contains highly offensive and indecent material.
This is the Adam Sank Show.
If it's in my hands, I'm gonna suck it.
Powered by DNR Studios. And now...
The one, the only, Adam Sank!
Yes, welcome to the Adam Sank Show. We are coming at you live if you're listening at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, October 17th, 2020 at dnrstudios.com and just for today at Instagram Live. Yes, we are live streaming the podcast for the first time ever and probably the last. That bell should be over here closer to me. Listen, if you listen live, call us at 844-825-5367. If you don't, leave us ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to this bullshit. Like our Facebook page, download my comedy albums, and most importantly, get your official ass merchandise. T-shirts, tank tops. Tank tops. Get a tank top.
Tank top.
Tank tops.
Okay.
Even a ball gag. You can get all of that at adamsank.com. And no matter what else you do, guys, vote. There's nothing more important right now than your vote. Go to vote.org to find out voting procedures in your state. Cast your vote as soon as you can and as often as you can. This bell's not working today. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Hey, today we have an amazing guest on the Adam Sank Show, a returning favorite, comedian, actor, playwright, director, all-around bon vivant.
Bon vivant.
Droege is going to be joining us a little later in the hour. But first, it is my pleasure, it is my duty, it is my solemn oath to introduce my co-host to this podcast, the Prince of Pigs, Ryan Frostig, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, the audience is...
Yes, the audience is going crazy. Instagram can't hear the audience because they don't have the headphones on, but the audience went wild. And here is our producer, the queen of fuckery, JB. How are you, love? Nice to see you. JB's bundled up like it's cold in here, and it's not.
Cold. I don't know why. Like, it was really cold this morning. It was 40 degrees. I even brought a jacket. Like, I feel like there's something's wrong.
But girl, we're inside now.
I know.
And
I still feel
quite
cold.
warm. I had a sweater on too, but now I'm barely dressed, Ryan.
Some of us are still sweating a little bit.
I'm scantily clad. All right, let's get into, before we get into the news, let's get into what we recommend viewing-wise. And today we're going to start with Ryan Frostig.
Okay. So I just watched a very interesting special on HBO from a couple of years ago called "Can a Computer Write a Hit Musical?"
Oh.
And basically...
This sounds right up my ass.
It might be.
Because I love musicals.
And you like things up your ass.
And I like things up my ass.
So basically, it's these two homosexuals that they're kind of annoying, but the premise is interesting. But they set out to write a hit musical using only computers. So it's going to be the final product is a computer generated musical, and they go all around Europe looking at these different like softwares and different programs that can basically like based on, you know, they put in all of this music from like Wicked, Phantom, like every hit musical that you can think of. They
created an algorithm for it.
Yes. And so you see the full production from conception to production.
Wow.
And they even have critics that come see it. There are moments that make you want to kind of like turn it off and walk out the door because the faggotry is a little too much, even for me.
Yeah.
But the idea of like, especially now that we are the industry, the musical theater industry is struggling and unable to necessarily like bring in people.
Right.
It kind of makes you think, is this the future of musical theater? But then you kind of realize that the takeaway for me is that no, it's not. You can't.
What's this called again?
How can a computer write a hit musical?
And that's streaming on
HBO Max.
Okay, JB, your recommendation for us?
Oh, this is going to be surprising, but I actually don't have one. I haven't been really watching TV.
No, like obscure 90s cartoon.
Okay, obscure 90s show. One-on-One, that's good. I've liked that show.
One-on-One.
Yeah, it's about a black father raising his daughter because the mom done took a job somewhere else. So they're now moving in together and living together. I thought this was gonna be Me and My Mother, where we left my stepfather, but it's not.
Okay, but you are enjoying it.
I do enjoy it. Yes, it's
And that's
really
where is that available?
cute. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to recommend a Dolly Parton documentary that I saw on Netflix. I just kind of stumbled across it. It's called, I keep wanting to say it's called This Is Me. It's called Here I Am. And it's just delightful. It's like the perfect escape that we need right now from all the stress and all the bullshit that's happening. Dolly Parton, I mean, you can't not love her. She's had an incredible career, and it's a well-done documentary. So watch that. And then I must not only recommend something, but apologize to Ryan Frostig.
Oh my God, I've been waiting for this
for
moment.
doubting him. RuPaul's Drag Race Holland is a delight.
It's so good.
It's maybe one of the best
best.
seasons I've seen in years.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Now, I know you're thinking, how am I going to understand it? It is in Dutch. There are subtitles. But what's great about them is every once in a while they come out with an English sentence completely unaccented.
Oh, yeah.
They'll just be like, bitch, please, don't even try it.
Yeah.
And then they go back to like,
It's so
like,
good.
Their English is great. Their drag queen speak is great. The host is this drag queen named Fred, whose catchphrase
name.
is which is like, bye girl, bye hon. He
Yeah.
says that when they get kicked off. It's great. There's been 4 episodes released so far. I think there's a 5th one now that came
Yes.
out last night.
Yes.
Watch it. You'll love
It's
it.
so good. And there's also something really fun about, it's been a while since we've had because when like American Idol came out, America's Next Top Model, all these other shows, the international boom was very like interesting to watch. And
Yes.
There's something about watching like foreign Drag Race that just feels, I don't know, it's different. It's interesting and it's exciting.
And yet very similar.
Very similar.
And Fred is the best non-RuPaul host
Absolutely.
I've seen.
He gets it. He totally gets it.
Okay, a couple quick announcements before we get into the news. First of all, I need to know what your favorite episode is of all time. So either on Facebook or some other social media, or you can just email me at adam@adamsank.com. Tell me what your favorite episode is that we've done. I want to compile like a top 10 list
my God.
that I can then show people when they say, I want to try your podcast, which episode should I listen to? Number 2, I am discontinuing publishing this on YouTube. Ryan just gasped. There's only like 10 or 12 people that get
Yeah.
this podcast via YouTube,
Yeah.
and it's just cluttering up my YouTube feed. There's hours and hours of episodes that you shouldn't be watching because there's nothing to watch. Today is the only episode you could watch, and it's on Instagram. It's just audio. You
Right.
can listen to it on a million different audio platforms. So I'm just this is it. If you're listening on YouTube, I apologize, but switch to Apple Podcast or subscribe to dnrstudios.com or listen on Stitcher or Podomatic or any podcast site you can think of. It's on there, but it's not going to be on YouTube anymore.
It's over.
It's over, and I'm deleting all the old episodes. Finally, I have an important announcement to make. Oh, is the fanfare still on here? Oh, here it is. Instagram can't hear it, but there's trumpets playing right now.
Oh, yes.
The Adam Sank Show this past week has surpassed 150,000 downloads.
That's so
Yes.
exciting.
Yes.
Wow, I'm verklempt.
And keep in mind, that doesn't even count all of them. If
Yeah.
you listen at Derek at dnrstudios.com or on any like player, where you like push a button and you play it as opposed to downloading it, doesn't even count. Those are 150,000 unique downloads of the podcast.
Wow.
So we're cooking with gas, people, and you should be listening and seeing what all the fun is about.
Very,
All right.
very exciting.
Thank you. I think that's all my announcements. And now we can talk about Atlanta Pride.
Oh, yes, let's.
Now, last week was Atlanta Pride. And like all prides right now, the official Pride was a virtual event only. It was like, everyone stay safe, stay inside. We're going to have like things you can watch online and be a part of interactively. But there was no like Pride March. There were no organized things. However, Georgia is one of those states with a Republican governor where they don't believe coronavirus is real. And so like dance clubs are open, bars are open, and they're not enforcing any kind of limit on the number of people there. So as a result, there were some massive circuit parties that went on in Atlanta. At one of them, at a bar called Zion, a man died. He was found, I got the things slightly wrong. He was at a club called BJ Roosters, which I think is like the Eagle in New York, in a basement space called Zion. And this guy was found early in the morning after consuming ecstasy, according to his partner. Atlanta police found no signs of foul play, but an investigation is ongoing. The event was held last Sunday morning from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. It was thrown by a group called, I don't know if it's pronounced GA Boy Events or GA Boy Events.
Ga.
But it's basically Georgia Boy Events.
Yeah.
So one of the attendees at Zion forwarded a statement to the Advocate claiming that pandemic guidelines were not being enforced. It was packed with hundreds of guests to overcapacity at times. The witness saw the victim, who was described as a healthy-looking black man in his mid to late 30s, have a medical emergency at around 6:30 a.m. There were no EMTs at the event, and it took more than a half hour for paramedics to arrive. That's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty hard to overdose on ecstasy, and the chances are someone could have saved his life.
Right.
There should have at least been, a medic on scene to make sure that nobody, because this happens at circuit parties. But meanwhile, at this other circuit party, at a place called, I want to say it was called The District. I'm asking, waiting for Ryan or JB to tell me.
Yes, that's it.
I'll find it. But it was a huge circuit party, and Detox was one of the performers. And after it came out that she had performed at this event, there was all this backlash on social media, and people were freaking out. And she kind of, and I'll also say that Cameron Michaels, another former RuPaul's Drag Race queen, shared a video of the packed party, and she said, are we going to name names or what? The fact that the rest of us gave up our normal pride festivities, our birthdays, etc., because we're not selfish and stupid, yet here y'all are acting like it's over. Do you know how bad I want to go to a club and go dancing? All of us do. Fuck you. So Detox... Yes, it was called The District. I was right. So Detox took to Twitter and wrote, I'm sick of feeling the need to defend myself because of the actions of others. I have been unemployed for 7 months, as many of us have, and have lots of bills and have had zero government assistance. I would rather not be putting myself at risk in order to survive, but unfortunately that's where I'm at. All I can do personally in these circumstances is to make sure I'm doing everything with my own power to act responsibly, mask up, wash my hands, disinfect, and monitor my own health and body. Would I rather be in a bubble in my own home? Absolutely, especially with my asthma? Of course. I do not have that luxury. What I do have is awareness and mindfulness of my own actions and behavior. How about that?
You know what? I'm Team Detox on this.
I think I am too.
Because... okay, so it obviously would be one thing if Detox was attending the party, but she wasn't. She was working, and I think she brings up a good point. Performing artists are really getting fucked.
Yes.
In this pandemic, and especially drag queens. I mean, Detox is probably one of the most successful drag queens from the franchise, from RuPaul's Drag Race. But even she's struggling. You know what I mean? It's been 7 months. So I understand her. If they offer her a ton of money, I understand her saying, you know what? I know this is a little bit risky, but I have bills to pay, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to be safe and to keep others safe. But I have to. I agree. Eventually, we have to go back to work.
I agree. If she's there to perform,
yes.
she's not there to have a good time. She's not there to party.
And it sounds like she doesn't necessarily want to be out and about, but
right. And also, if she's on stage and there are all these people out there, she's not putting herself in the same kind of risk as they're putting themselves. I have to say, I don't blame Detox. I don't even really blame all the circuit boys who showed up, although it is stupid and reckless to do that. It's up to the state. Cuomo would never stand for that shit.
No.
De Blasio would never stand for that shit. In places like Georgia, they're all COVID deniers because they're just trying to please Donald Trump.
Right.
That's what Georgia's governor is doing. So blame it on fucking him. It's not Detox's fault.
Yeah.
She didn't organize the party. She was the hired help. Are you mad at the janitor who cleaned up after the event? Are you like calling for his head?
No, I'm mad at the people who hosted the event. That's like it's one thing to be mad at the governor. Yes. Oh, more to the other side. There we go.
Get that good angle.
So it's more about blaming the governor, yes, but then it's your responsibility as a provider of a place to keep your place safe as can
Yes.
be. You should have medics there.
Yeah.
You should have kept a cap on people. Like if you're going to open up,
I
be
think
safe
some of them
about
were
it.
wearing caps. Just kidding.
Not those kind of caps, but you have to be safe about your shit. You gotta
No,
be
I
smart.
agree. I mean, the whole thing is kind of sickening. Interestingly, Cameron Michaels wasn't the only one who tweeted out video. There was a gay guy who won Big Brother a few years back.
Oh, I know him. Andy Heron,
Personally?
the redhead.
Yes, do
Yeah.
tell.
I mean, he is a friend of a friend from Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I don't know her like that.
Well, he tweeted it out and said, taken last night at Atlanta Pride. People can be so shitty and selfish. Please don't be like these people. This is appallingly gross. Listen, I have not been perfect during this pandemic as I cough.
Corona.
Very few of us have been perfect.
Yeah.
If you have, kudos to you. I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. But we're human beings. We've been in this situation for 8 months. The longer it goes on, the harder it is to stay apart. I'm not saying it's okay to run out to a circuit party, but I do understand the human need. It's a basic human need to live your life and be around other people and resume the kind of activities that like make life meaningful, because life isn't just work and watching television and seeing one person, if you're lucky, and your dog. Like life
Yeah.
is about, we are social creatures. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of torn. Like
it's really complicated because our government is not helping us. So the future is so unknown that we're all going to have to make our own choices. And, unfortunately, the trolls of the internet, they are going to be the moral police, and they're going to, tweet at everyone who's doing something that seems, whatever, but we're going to have to do what we have to do.
Can I ask you guys something? Someone says my nipples are perky.
They are.
There's 13 people watching
They're
right now,
always
which is
perky.
huge.
Hey, 13 people.
So someone asked to be part of the video. Should I allow that?
Who is it?
Alex Riega. I'm not sure who that is.
So that would mean they would join your live?
Yeah.
So they would be live with you?
No, you can't do that. That's.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Alex. That's too confusing.
Sorry, girl.
All right, moving on. Here's a story from August, because I like to be timely.
Yes.
I don't think we ever did this story.
I can't believe we didn't do this.
I know. And if we did do it, JB, if you remember it, just interrupt me. But it was not on my list
wasn't
of,
when I
of
was
past
here.
stories. Does everyone know that Niecy Nash came out of the closet as gay, and she did so by marrying another woman?
No, you did not do this story. Derek Romaine did it, but you did it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by this, even though it happened in August, because I just found out.
This is probably the most epic coming out story.
It's a big coming out story, because Niecy Nash has
time.
Been famous for years and years and
Yeah.
years. Never thought about her as a lesbian. Never heard anything about her. She shocked the Hollywood establishment and her fans when she announced her marriage to singer Jessica Betts,
Who sung at her last wedding? BT
who
Dubs.
sung at her
No.
last
Yes.
wedding. Says
No.
Jay. Good
Breaking.
intel. Interesting.
Breaking.
Yes. Well, Niecy Nash had previously married and divorced 2 men, and she wrote, "I got a whole wife." The announcement of nuptials took the world off guard, as Nash had never commented on her own bisexuality, though she had long expressed support for the LGBTQ community. So congratulations on being gay and on getting married.
This is a major.
Yes, Queen is right. You go, Niecy. Meanwhile, the first presidential debate, the only one that's taken place so far, it feels like that was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But that was actually less than 2 weeks ago, because we haven't been on the air since it happened.
Yeah.
And one of the big headlines to come out of that was that President Trump was asked if he would denounce white supremacy. Of course, he did not. Then he was asked specifically about this group called the Proud Boys, which is basically a right-wing militia group. Mm-hmm. And he told them to stand back and stand by, which is basically like saying, get ready to, fight if I don't win.
Right.
And the whole thing is so disgusting and hideous. But one of the outcomes of that is that gay people, and I think George Takei started this, started using the Proud Boys hashtag and filling up social media with gay content. This was from the Washington Post. The president's comment telling Proud Boys to stand back and stand by provided a boost to the Proud Boys on social media, emboldening its members to use Trump's words as a rallying cry. 2 days later, amid rousing outrage, Trump denounced the group. But then, actor and activist George Takei suggested a clever comeback, a way to drown out the hate on social media and replace it with something gay. What if guys took pictures of themselves making out with each other or doing very gay things? Oh my. And then he tagged hashtag Proud Boys. He said, I bet it would mess them up real bad. Hashtag reclaiming my shine.
Oh my God.
The call to action went viral, with thousands adopting the hashtag and posting images and messages of love and support. Gay people basically took over the Proud Boys hashtag, and I, of course, jumped into the fray and posted a photo of the one time I ever did full drag when I was Shatanya Face. And then LGBTQ Nation picked up the story and included my tweet with the picture of Shatanya. So Shatanya has gone viral along with the Proud Boys hashtag.
So,
and I'm here for it.
I have a few thoughts.
Please
about
tell me
this.
your thoughts. The 11 people now watching us are tired of seeing it.
I was, do you know who Evan Ross Katz is?
I do not.
Okay, he's like a Twitter gay, and he's a writer for Paper and whatever. He was talking about this on his podcast, and he brought up a point which is interesting, which is that this sort of like social media activism of like, let's all post this picture and hashtag this, and it's that sort of like lukewarm activism where it's like
keyboard activism.
Yeah. But the problem is that the people that are most likely to do that are white gay men. And what he mentioned was that there are a lot of people that think that there is white supremacy within sort of like the white cis gay, like white supremacy allows white cis gay men to sort of like be free and be sort of separate from the rest of the community. So the intention is right to sort of reclaim the Proud Boys. But then if you're like not white and you're not like, like a Proud Boy is a white nationalist group. So if if it's a bunch of like white people saying like Proud Boys, it kind of feels like one and the same. Like you're trying to reclaim it, but it also is kind of like... I
reject that. I think that's the same ally bashing that goes on the far left all the time. I mean, let me ask JB, do you is that a legitimate point of view to you?
Okay, the whole Proud Boy thing, yes and no. I don't feel proud or anything or way to show my proudness. It's not... I feel like we had this conversation before. My blackness comes before my gayness.
Right.
And,
so do you think it's helpful or not helpful or just meaningless for...
I feel like it's meaningless. Like, what is the end goal to this? What are we going to do? Like, yes, we're supposed to be voting, but if this man is hyping up people to go to war, where are our fallback, our back plan? What's our plan?
Right.
Like, all these crazy people have guns. Where are the liberals with guns to protect me? Like, who are they?
Right, well, very good question. And the fact is we don't have them.
I know one man, but that's it.
But I think the problem I have with this is what you're really... When I hear people like Evan, whoever, whose podcast you should not be promoting, I just want to say, okay, well, as a white... And we'll talk about this actually next week with Jorge Olivares. Yeah. But as a white, gay, cisgender male, should I just do nothing then?
No, but posting
tell me what I should do.
Posting a selfie of yourself and hashtagging Proud Boys is literally doing nothing but promoting your own whatever.
I don't know that I accept that. First of all, there's plenty of gay people of color who were part of that.
Totally, but
Proud
the
Boys
majority,
hashtag.
if you look at the hashtag, I'm sure that you will see.
But that's a numbers game. That's because there are more openly gay white people than there are.
But the optics, I just think, doesn't help anyone. So it's like it's and the thing is about George Takei.
And George Takei's not a white guy.
No, but he's also he's not. It feels. There's something about it that feels like what JB was saying. It feels meaningless, and it feels like there are better ways to kind of...
Listen, everything on Twitter is meaningless.
Yeah.
Right? To a certain extent. And I agree that this is not nearly as helpful as donating money
Yeah.
to Black Lives Matter
Because-
or to taking part in a protest or to donating to candidates who are going to actually change things in this country, most especially Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But also, your local candidates, your congressional candidates, your state representatives, all of that is way more important. But I don't see that there's anything harmful about this. And I think if it wipes Proud Boys off of Twitter, if they stop using their own hashtag, which is bad for them because then they are less findable on social media, I think that's an accomplishment.
I just think if the intention is to send a message to the Proud Boys, they don't care about us. Like, they don't care about.
That's not what it's about. It's not that we're going to change their minds. It's that we're mocking them, first of all, and we're also hijacking their hashtag. In the same way that years ago, some hacker made it so that when you go to the God Hates Fags website, it rerouted you to God Loves Fags.
Yeah.
I love shit like that.
I guess that probably made more sense a couple years ago. It feels a little tone deaf right now, is my point.
I don't see that. But, I mean, JB agrees with you, so he clearly...
No, it's not a black and white thing. Well,
I agree with Ryan. I just feel like it's meaningless. To me, to me, this is meaningless. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. That's how I feel. I know Ryan disagrees with this completely, and you agree with it. I'm in the middle. I don't know how this is going to help me better the future or myself.
It doesn't. And no hashtag is going to help an individual. But over time, I do think that, listen, I watched The Social Dilemma finally. And the one big takeaway I got from it was that we are in an information war.
yes.
We have been in an information war for years. And I can't fix that. I can't fix the technology that monetizes hatred and monetizes anger and partisanship and all that stuff. I'm in it. I'm like part of that system, and I can't do anything about it. I don't have the power. The only power I have is I can make sure that I post and share correct, accurate information that helps build people up instead of tearing them down. And me alone has no power, but 1 million, 10 million, 50 million of me all tweeting that same thing, sharing that same factual article saying, no, Joe Biden did not meet with a Ukrainian oil executive. That's complete bullshit. That's Russian propaganda that was fed to Rudy Giuliani, who then fed it to the New York Post. I'm trying to push back against the misinformation that's coming out. So for me, that's why it's valuable.
But
and
you also do more than the average. Like, I'm saying that there are people that are doing this as their only way of fighting back and their only way of activism. You're just doing it for shits and giggles. You posted a picture of Shachanya, so obviously, like, you're this is just one little thing that you are doing personally to make a difference. Whereas I think, and I might be wrong, that there are a lot of people that see these kind of movements as an opportunity to participate, and then they say, okay, I'm done for today, because they've posted it, they've done the hashtag, and that's...
I gotta tell you though, I'm sort of weary of people doing the right thing or doing something that's positive and then being attacked for it. Because you don't really mean it, or you're not really doing enough, or what else are you doing? I think the left in particular spends more time attacking one another than attacking the right. And the right doesn't do that. The right doesn't sit around getting fights. I mean, they do to some extent, but it's a whole nother universe over there. Yeah. They just line up behind Trump and say, he's God. And that's it. On our side, it's like, no, you don't support Bernie Sanders, so I'm not talking to you because Biden's a corporatist. And also, I saw you at this protest, but you didn't go to this protest, so you're just being performative. Like, I don't see how that's helpful. If anyone does something good, I appreciate it. Like George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband, he's not a good person.
Right.
He was instrumental in getting Donald Trump elected. He was instrumental in getting all of those ultra-conservative Supreme Court justices on the court. He's not a good man, but since creating the Lincoln Project, he's done a lot of good to try to help defeat Donald Trump. So I applaud him. Yeah. I'm not saying like he's perfect. I'm not saying I want to like, follow him in any way, but like, Thank you, George Conway, for creating the Lincoln Project and working harder than any group and being more effective than any group in toppling Donald Trump's regime. If you are the enemy of my enemy, then I'm going to thank you for the good that you're doing while acknowledging that you're still a deeply imperfect, flawed person. And I don't think we get that. On the far left doesn't get that. You must be perfect or you are canceled.
Right.
I don't know what good that's doing us.
Yeah.
I just don't. I did not know this was going to become a big story.
I know.
I thought we were going to be laughing about me as Shatanya Face, and that was going to be the end of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would say I still love your drag name. Shatanya Face.
It's a great
Thank you, JB.
And people be like, don't be so woke. It's painful.
That's what someone just wrote on my Insta.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Was that you?
No, it wasn't me, but I laughed. I was like, you right.
Someone just wrote, "Don't be so woke. It's painful." I think they're talking to you.
Social media should be canceled. That's my big take, and that's why my eyes rolled at this
All right.
story. Anyway, moving on.
Listen, we have 5 minutes
Let's
to
get
do
through it.
3 stories.
Great.
I'm going to skip the next 2.
Okay.
Actually, okay, I'll do this one quickly. So in New Mexico, there is a Democrat named Roger Montoya who's running for the state House of Representatives, and he has had to address his gay porn past. In a statement posted to his campaign's Facebook page, he writes, 38 years ago, as a 22-year-old struggling college student, I was a modern dancer and performer living in L.A. I worked hard to earn my own way, never relying on anyone else, including my parents. I was auditioning for commercials. This sounds like Ryan. And doing my best to succeed. Among those choices were 2 adult films I acted in as an adult with other adults in a very different environment and time. I am not proud of that choice as I was young and naive, but those experiences helped me to understand the exploitation of young people, blah, 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 blah. He goes on to say all the work he's done over the past 3 decades. He's helped people in rural New Mexico deal with AIDS and COVID. And basically, his Republican opponent is doing everything he can to tar him with this. I, of course, did the research and looked up his porn. And it's pretty good. He was cute. He was a cute, big-dicked twink. He appeared to be highly versatile. And I'm trying to find his name because I wrote, his porn name, he had 2 of them, were Joe Savage and Eric Martinez. So if you'd like to watch, just type in Joe Savage porn or Eric Martinez porn. But who the fuck cares that he did porn? That makes me want to vote for him more. Mm-hmm. And so if you're in his district in New Mexico, please vote for Eric Montoya. Was that his name?
Sounds about right.
Vote for the gay porn star.
Yay!
All right. And finally, here's a story I wanted to do 2 weeks ago, but I never had time. 5 foul-mouthed parrots have been removed from a park in England.
Oh my goodness.
They were split up after they launched a number of different expletives at visitors and staff just days after being donated to the Lincolnshire Wildlife Park in eastern England. Someone there said it just went ballistic. They were all swearing. We were a little concerned about the children. One of them said, I get called a fat twat every time I walk past.
Oh my dear.
The African gay parrots named Eric, Jade, Elsie, Tyson, and Billy were given to the park from 5 different owners within the same week and shared a quarantining facility together before being placed on display. Within a very short period of time, they started swearing at each other. Fuck was the most common word. It's very easy for them to learn, but the birds would utter anything you could think of. So I thought that we would go around the room and everyone could do their best impression of a foul-mouthed parrot, starting with Ryan.
Cunt! Ha! 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 Pussy! Cunt! Bitch! Fucker!
You sound more like high-pitched Eric from the Howard Stern Show. JB.
Blah, bitch! Blah, clink! Blah, cock! That's all I got.
We need to put those in the soundboard.
Pussy motherfucker!
Anytime we're doing a story about like a Karen, we just have to have JB going, bitch! Okay,
Polly wanna suck my cock?
oh my God.
Polly wanna lick my balls?
I sound like Elmo.
Yeah,
That's my go-to impression. All right, JB.
I just want to say before we do that, that was all planned. The parrot stuff with the 5 people, they lived together. They taught these parrots these curse words.
Oh, I think so too. I think so too. And I want to adopt those parrots. I would love to have a foul-mouthed parrot.
Same.
All right, JB, it's time for you to get the guest on the phone. But before that, I'm feeling sexy. Why don't you put on some sexy music? Oh, yeah. Oh. Wait, I'm trying to play your orgasm. Ryan. Ryan, calm down. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Ryan just came. Ryan, you know that thing when your dick looks like a snail and you want it to look like a cobra?
Yeah.
Well, right now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. JB, turn the music down just a little bit.
Just a skosh.
Listen up. BlueChew.com. That's blue, like the color blue. Chew. It brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Right now, when you visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free, all you have to do is use special promo code ASS. That's ASS. Just pay $5 shipping. You can take Blue Chew anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill. So, Ryan, you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Ooh. Blue Chew is made in the USA. It's prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor or wait in line. It's even cheaper than a pharmacy, and they prepare and ship it right to you in a discreet package. No awkwardness, and you don't have to leave the house. If you could benefit from more confidence where it counts. I'm pointing to my dick, Ryan.
I see.
Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. Once again, our special deal for listeners of the ass only. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code ASS. Just pay $5 shipping and handling. Again, that's BLUE Chew.com, promo code ASS. Try it free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the ass.
Thank you, Blue Chew.
Thank you, Blue Chew. Yeah. Is the guest ready, JB? No? C. Okay. Here we go. Our guest today is a returning favorite to the ass. He is an actor, comedian, writer, director, and Chloe Sevigny impersonator. And his one-man hit off-Broadway show, Happy Birthday, Doug, has just been released as a film directed by Michael Urie and streaming on the Broadway HD app. Here's a taste.
Girl, I quit acting. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Like me, of all people. I know, it's insane. It's not because I don't think I'm good, because I know I'm fucking great. It's just, this business is stupid. It's like, it's a stupid business, and like, nobody knows what they want. And it's like, so, and that's the difference, because I do know what I want. Like, I do know who I am and what I want. So it's just like, it's just this whole cosmic disconnect. Like, I'm so much happier that I'm not an actor right now. I'm just really happy. Like, I don't miss it. You know? I know. What are you drinking, by the way? No, I do not. Oh my God, enabler. No, honey, new. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Wow, you really haven't been keeping up with me, have you? It's fine, it's fine. No, it's just, I'm sober now. Yeah, totes sobs. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. No, I'm so good. I feel so good. Now look at my skin. Girl, look at my skin. Look at this, look at this. You know what's crazy? Now that I'm sober, I like never have a bad day. No.
And joining us all the way from sunny Los Angeles, please give a warm-ass welcome to the one and only Droege.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Drew.
How are you feeling today, baby?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
We are good. We're actually streaming live on Instagram right now.
We're live.
I saw that. This is the first one, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, our viewers won't be able to hear you.
That's probably a good thing.
So what's going to happen is Drew will answer, and then I will interpret his answer to the... No, I'm just kidding. Drew, I'm so happy that you filmed this show so that everyone can see it. It's really fabulous. How did the film adaptation come about?
It was just, well, it was an idea that actually, when we said earlier, Michael Urie was our producer, but our director was Tom DeTrinant of the stage show. And Michael had been at a Zoom, we were doing it in New York, and of course had to stop because of COVID and like everyone's story doing theater in 2020. And months later, Michael was at a Zoom birthday party. And since the show is all, is about birthday parties and all that, he had this idea. He was like, what if, you sort of filmed it now, and we really wanted to keep it alive, and so I contacted Jim Hansen, who does the Chloe videos, and amongst a million other things, and so the three of us really collaborated, or the four of us rather collaborated on just making it happen, and so we we filmed it at his place, and then just we're just going to put it up online, and then had the idea to maybe contact Broadway HD because they have my other show, Bright Colors and Bold Patterns, on as well, and so they liked it, and so they've acquired it. So we're just so happy that people can see it now, and because it's with theater, it's like even in the before times, it's like you have to catch it or
right.
miss it forever.
And you were actually on the show. You were on the podcast when it was running live. So I feel like we're coming full circle with Happy Birthday, Doug. Next will be the Happy Birthday, Doug musical, followed by the Happy Birthday, Doug podcast. Ryan and I actually were together. My co-host Ryan and I. We saw you perform this live in front of an audience. What's it like doing this one-man show, this multi-character show with no audience?
Super weird and lonely because so much of it you rely on the audience's energy and. But we had to change a little bit of it just in how I played it, because just without an audience, there were certain things that, that you feel crazy when you're like screaming into a camera. It seems like, so it was a really interesting exercise that we had with some of the characters and sort of bringing them down and sort of playing them a little bit smaller and like just the snippet that you just heard, believe it or not, is like smaller than how I played it on stage. Because you just have to sort of transition the form.
Right, you can't if you did it the same way as you do it with a live audience, you would come across as kind of insane, which some of the characters are, but it would be a different. JB, I just had an idea. Would it be possible to put Drew on speaker so the people on Instagram could hear him, or is that going to fuck up the audio to the listeners?
We don't have a speaker.
Oh, there's no speaker? All right. Because people on Insta are complaining that they can't hear you, or they're just watching me sit in silence while you speak. But you know what? Fuck them. They can pay for a subscription if they want.
Exactly.
There you go.
Did you and Michael, and I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Who was the director you said?
It was Tom DeTrenis and Jen Hansen.
And who? Tom and
Jen Hansen.
Did Tom and Jen and you and Michael ever consider casting other actors in the film version and making it an ensemble piece instead of a one-person show?
We never did. I mean, we have thought about. I mean, I've definitely thought about trying to adapt this for TV, and like in that case, sort of hiring out and like sort of seeing like who would I play and who do we get? I mean, because it's something that I think, has legs, and I'm interested in sort of thinking as like an episodic thing, because it's 9 characters.
Right.
Thing. So, but for this, we didn't. I mean, especially because we're all isolated in pandemic, it was the greatest thing about having only one actor to deal with. It was just so much easier. And, I'm a pig, so I want to do it all.
Absolutely.
Well, this is a perfect segue then. Hey, Drew, this is Ryan here. Glad to have you back on the pod. When Adam and I both saw, we saw Happy Birthday, Doug, and of course we saw Bright Colors. And I know for me, like, instantly these characters, they felt very real. I could identify in my life who they were. Do you, when writing these characters, do you have specific people in mind? I mean, how specific are these inspirations for these characters?
There are definitely combinations of a lot of people that I know. I wanted to write about like modern day life in LA and sort of that experience of being in a party where everyone's really insecure, and I wanted to make all the characters gay men, and so it sort of boils down to the types that you sort of have to meet at the party. Like the one that you just heard is the obnoxious one who's going to come at you first, who you find out wasn't even invited, but is there and is like constantly talking about himself and everything. And so I sort of did the whole thing. And then like the older character is based on a lot of like mentors that I feel like I've had that I really love. And, there's the waiter character who's really earnest, was sort of like based on some, it's like sort of like none of them are based on like one person.
Right. Like you didn't have friends that saw the show and were like, fuck you. I know that's me.
I definitely had friends that saw it and thought they were one of the characters, and they were asking me like, oh my God, am I so-and-so? And it was really funny because everyone that asked was not the people that were, it's always fun when, the opposite happens, when you're obviously playing someone and then that person comes up to you and goes, oh my God, what an asshole that person was.
Right.
It's like, well, it was you.
I think you and I may have talked about this the first time you were on the pod. I'm an extrovert, right? I love being around other people. I love being social, and yet sometimes in a party situation, I feel extremely awkward because I hate making small talk, and I feel this pressure to make party conversation when I don't know how to make party conversation. I only know how to like delve into something really deep. Are you the same? Am I picking up on that when I watch Happy Birthday, Doug?
Yes, it's so much in that way that I, because writing it was really therapeutic for like sort of how I felt when that sort of energy is coming. I mean, a lot of it I think is like when you're a performer, I think people assume that you're kind of, and a lot of performers are, like, they love to be on all the time and they're happy in that way, and that's great. But I sort of like exercise that demon when I'm performing or working on the thing, and when I go out, I really like to be chill, and I get really easily overwhelmed, and I like to be sort of like against the wall, like kind of quiet. Like I just have a thing where I'm like, if it's too much coming at you, it's a lot, and I can shut down, and then, I think people are kind of either like they're kind of going, "What's wrong?" or are you tired, or are you mad? And it's like sort of a thing where you're like, I just kind of can't handle it. It's overload.
Right. I like finding one interesting person and just staying with that person the whole night and having conversations with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Particularly if they're hot.
Because I used to not realize that about myself. So I would run around and I would try to like make everybody at a party like me or interested, and I was so exhausted socially. And then when I realized that I could just plant my feet, talk to who I talk to. If I see someone across the room that I don't get to talk to, I could send them a message later and be like, "Hey, we didn't get to talk."
Totally. And especially, sorry, what were you saying?
No, it was just, it's just a thing where you have to sort of learn to sort of relax in the middle of all of that and not get caught up in it. And then especially in LA where everyone's talking about their projects.
Yes.
It's just exhausting.
Right. It's that competitiveness that happens. And I don't think it's unique to gay men, but I do think gay men are maybe the worst at this. Gay men and straight women, when they get together, there's this need to be like, well, here's what I'm working on, and here's how fabulous my life is. And you really see that throughout the piece. I have to imagine, Drew, that the boys in the band was a major influence on you in terms of all of your work. Am I right about that? And if so,
absolutely.
How do you feel? I assume you've watched the Netflix remake, and I'm wondering what your take on it was.
I did. I mean, it was one of those things that I didn't realize when I was writing this show, that after I look back, and I think somebody even pointed it out to me, that I'm doing 9, I'm playing 9 gay men, and there are 9 gay men and boys in the band, and it's also a birthday party. And I was like, oh wow, that was totally unintentional, but obviously it's so in like my DNA and when I'm writing. I loved it. I loved the Netflix film. I liked the stage show even better because they really played it on stage like it was a party until the bottom drops out, and and it works better as a play because you really can sort of check in with all the characters on your own time. So it's hard in the movie because you have 9 people to take care of and in one location mainly. But I think the film really took care of the, it is an ensemble piece, but a lot of the minor characters I thought really stood out in the film version. I enjoyed it. And it's still really fucking powerful to see all those out gay actors playing gay characters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, that, you can't deny that. And I think it's such a difficult piece. It's ugly. It's not, a pretty picture of what it's like to be gay. And then so a lot of people have such issues with it, but I think it's such necessary medicine for us to watch and see, like, this is how we can be, this is how we shouldn't be. And, and also, just, give each other, more love and more space.
Absolutely. I as I was watching Happy Birthday, Doug again for the first time since I saw it live, I was struck by the Oscar Wilde character. I forgot that Oscar Wilde, and I hope I'm not, spoiler alert for everyone, but Oscar Wilde shows up at one point in the party, the ghost of Oscar Wilde. And I just thought that was really interesting, and I'm wondering where your idea, how you came up with the idea of putting him in the piece.
Well, I had a realization a few years ago when I was at a party, and just every gay man was just tossing off witty bon mot after witty bon mot. And I was like, every gay man thinks he's Oscar Wilde after a few drinks.
We do.
True.
And none of us are. And we all are trying to be that. And so when I was writing this, I just, as I was going, and I always love to throw in something that's sort of like unbelievable and sort of like weird and fantastic. I think it's just, fun, especially for theater. Why not? And so I just thought, what if Oscar Wilde visits and then also admits that he wasn't even Oscar Wilde? Like, the legend of Oscar Wilde is even greater than the real man that he was.
Right. I love when he says, not everything I said was brilliant. Like, I said a lot of crap, too.
Right. And I think that would be true. And I think it's like that we all can calm down and sort of relax, and we don't need that pressure that we put on ourselves as gay men in a social situation to always be za all the time. Like, we can just kind of be messy and human and real and stupid, and that's fine too.
Right. One of our Instagram listeners who can't hear you but can hear me wants me to ask you, what is the status of Casita del Campos?
Oh, great question. They are still open for food.
Still open for food, says Drew.
They're being very locally supported. And then obviously the basement will be one of the last places I think that will be able to be open just because of COVID. But like, I know that the restaurant is doing well, which means that the theater is as well, because that's, they're a small operation. And as long as the restaurant can stay open, then we'll have the space downstairs.
So Drew says the restaurant's doing well. The basement is not open yet. It's going to be the last thing that opens, but he's heartened by the fact that the restaurant's doing well, so that when they are allowed to open, they will be able to do so. Did I paraphrase you correctly, Drew Droege?
Totally, that's right.
This is exhausting. I'll never do this again on Instagram. All right, Drew, in the time remaining, and the Instagram viewers are going to love this part, it's time to play everyone's favorite at-home quiz show, Ask Me No Questions.
Ask me no questions. Ask me no questions.
Yeah. Okay, describe a time when you made a big, embarrassing scene at a party, just like the character Jason does in Happy Birthday, Doug.
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think what I'm sure I've definitely done something. I've definitely been really guilty of talking shit about somebody's TV show and finding out that they like created it, or, I've definitely been really bad about that. Like, I haven't learned the LA lesson of like, just shut up.
Yeah, don't badmouth anything, because you never know who's standing behind you.
Oh.
I've done that a million times. I have literally talked about somebody, like talked about somebody who was 2 inches to my left the entire time.
Oh my God, it's a horrible feeling. Because it's also like, who cares what my opinion is? I just hated making that person feel bad in that moment. It's like, it was just so needless to...
Everything about it's terrible. You feel guilty, you feel embarrassed, you feel like an asshole. My problem is I have facial blindness. I can never recognize anyone. So I don't even know who's standing in the room. And yet I'm still shit-talking people. All right, Drew Droege, have you had sex since quarantine began? And if so, with whom?
I'm going to say no, and that's a complicated thing. I did have a massage that went a little, so I guess that's considered.
Yes, a sexual massage does count.
It was nice and hot, so yes.
I think that's okay. I'm going to give you permission for that. I think we all need to experience touch. And if you're single during this quarantine and some hot guy wants to come over and massage you, even if you have to throw him a few bucks, and you wind up, ejaculating at the end of it, who's the worst for it?
Yeah, exactly.
We have actual audio of Drew at the end of his massage.
Oh, great.
Describe.
I made all of that noise with my mouth.
Describe the perfect kissing technique. We've never asked this before.
Oh, I really do think you really got to just read the room and be in the moment, because I really think it's got to be, you've got to like ride the wave of a kiss. I don't think there's one way to do it.
Oh, I do.
Gotta, you do?
Yeah, I just told someone recently, less tongue, more lip.
Yeah, I'm definitely not into a lot of tongue down my throat, but I don't know. Sometimes it's,
You think it's
really
organic to
tough.
the situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like most people need to be taught by me that kissing is about lips. And there is tongue action, but the tongue is not the primary instrument of the kiss, in my opinion.
And it's also like, it's like a conversation. You know,
Yes.
like if you're having a conversation.
That's how as well. Like you have to be able to sort of be there. I know there's so many guys. Isn't it crazy that, you'll be like, oh, and then the kissing's bad. And it's like, come on, like, just be here with me. Let me. Other times that the teacher in me takes over and I'm like, just relax. Let me guide you through this. Let me try. Because I do think if anything I can do, I'm good at kissing. Anything physical, like I can do that. And it's like, but you gotta relax and be in the room and not like go in like I have a plan.
Right.
The bad idea.
Oh, I have a plan. I always have a plan. Drew, who is your favorite porn star?
Oh, I don't know that I have one. I mean, I do love, old school. So I do love like Peter North.
Peter North. He was a straight porn star,
What was his
right?
gay name? He had a different name in gay porn.
I have a different favorite every week. I just discovered someone named Clay Towers.
Clay Towers. Okay.
Towers with a T. Google him and you will not be sad. What a fucking beautiful man and an enormous penis.
What?
Yeah. Clay Towers. Name something you keep in your nightstand that would surprise people.
Oh, let me look in my nightstand and even see, because I don't even know.
Ryan just Googled Clay Towers and a picture of a tower made of clay came up. That is not what we're talking about. So Drew is now searching his nightstand to find something surprising.
You know what I have in my nightstand is I have a bunch of really crazy, bad, like rope jewelry that I wore for a character.
Rope
But I don't know,
jewelry.
would that surprise anyone?
What's that doing in your nightstand? Isn't it taking up space? That should just be your essentials.
I know. I don't know. I threw it in there one time and I was like, I was like, oh, I'll deal with this later. That's the story of my life.
You know what it is in LA? You probably have some enormous nightstand. Like here in New York, I have like a square foot of space in which to store everything.
Oh yeah, we do. I do have a nightstand on either side of my bed, and because it's LA.
Drew, who's the bitchiest celebrity you've ever had to deal with?
Oh, I will say Josh Radnor.
Josh Radnor. You know what? I've heard this story before. Yes, he told us last time that when Drew was on How I Met Your Mother as I'm going to say waiter.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I've told this story here before. I think I was like, yeah.
That Josh Radnor was a cunt to you. Now that you've told the story a number of times, has Josh Radnor reached out to you to apologize?
Of course not. No, he doesn't care. I'm sure he hasn't heard that.
Josh Radnor, if you're listening, Drew Droege deserves an apology from you. Who is your celebrity crush?
Don't be that way. It was awful. That's always the first name that comes to my mind. I mean, obviously there are people that you've interacted with, that aren't always the most friendly, or they can be really tough, or they're having a rough day. But
Radnor was a real.
Like, oh, he's coming for me. He was awful.
Who is your celebrity crush, Drew?
Growing up, my first celebrity crush was Ralph Macchio.
Oh, Ralph Macchio, cute.
Oh my God, that's who I was. Yeah, totally into. And then I don't know. Like now, I don't know if I have anybody. I'm bad about like now. I'm now like you're talking about like modern porn stars or modern. I'm like, oh, that guy's hot. I don't bother learning his name. I'm just old, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
But I don't know their name.
And finally, if and when Donald Trump concedes defeat to Joe Biden, how will you celebrate?
Oh, getting as drunk as I can and running through the streets screaming. And I'll probably just cry. I'll probably just cry uncontrollably.
I expect to be sobbing one way or the other. However it turns out, I'm going to be doing a lot of crying. Drew Droege, Happy Birthday Doug is now streaming on Broadway HD. If you guys don't have that app, you should get it. How can people follow you on the interwebs?
I'm on Twitter at Drew Droege, Instagram Drew_Droege. Yeah.
Guys, follow him. He's delightful. I love you so much. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Drew.
Have a great day. Ryan and JB, plug yourselves, please.
At Ryan Frosting, though I'm on a social media break, kind of.
No one cares.
at Stalking Anarchy. You can only follow me on Instagram. Send me dick pics.
Thank you both so much. Tune in next week to hear another brand new ass with our special guest, satellite radio personality and activist Jorge Olivares. Subscribe to this podcast at dnrstudios.com. Don't forget to order your ass merch at adamsank.com. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at adamsank. Email me at adam@adamsank.com. Vote blue no matter who. Have a great week, bitches. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Instagram.
Bye, Insta.